Welcome to Make a Difference with Phil Martelli. He is Phil Martelli. I am Jared Phillips, and we are in the greatest month of the entire year. It is March. College basketball is in full swing with conference championships into the NCAA tournament. It's really the greatest time of the year if you're a hoops head. And I think one thing that is fascinating is you go through these conference tournaments, you go through these moments with your teammates, with these players. I think that it's interesting to see kind of the bonds that develop between your guys when you really get into the thick of the season like this, right?
And here I was sitting here thinking you were talking about daylight saving time, so that the little leagues can start playing and the golfers can get out there and all of these different things. But when you think about a team, and often teams now present themselves as family and fan bases as nation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be a skeptic, but some of me I think it's just the buzzwords. What I would suggest to all would be that we all take a step back and think about friendships. And when you're young, you think you have a lot of friends. And as you get older, that minimizes. The numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller. But it should lead you to wonder, what does that mean? And so I use this example for young people. You have a 12 o'clock curfew. You're headed home. Get a flat tire. How many people are you going to call? With the idea that they will answer and they will show up because you're in time of need. And then I flip it and say, how many people will call you? Because they know you'll show up in a time of need. That's how many friends you have. True friends. You could have acquaintances. You could have social friends. You could have hangout groups and the whole bit. But friends are there when you need them. And you're there because it's not a one-way street, right? There's no friendships on one-way streets. It's got to go both ways, that you're there for them. And the reason it strikes me is, yes, you make a great point about teams and friendships and bonds. And I sit here saying last week we took a call. Our family took a call. Steve Comley, who has been around for 50 years. He was a year younger than me at the prep. His brother Dan, a remarkable guy, was in my class. First day of first grade for Philip, my son, going to St. Bernadette's, pick up the name tag. The next name tag picked up was Stephen Comley, Steve's son. And he battled Alzheimer's. And I don't know that it's not a fair battle. It's not really that you're not doing anything. We just watched him lose that on Friday. But then to rally around the phone calls and the connections and the true friendships. So to all the Comley family, this podcast is dedicated to you. And to my man, Steve, who took care of your grandfather every single basketball game that he attended. He gave Pop a bag of popcorn. At the meal after your grandfather's funeral at Drexelbrook, there was popcorn on every table. Steve Comley provided that popcorn. So to Steve and to Pop, who Friday night willed VCU to a victory at Dayton, true friends. So thank you. But all of us, take a mark, take a time to check on your true friendships. Not knocking anybody, but value those friendships. cherish them, and build them up.
There are moments in your life where you need those friendships more than ever, and the flat tire analogy is a really great one. But in that moment of grieving too,
No question.
losing someone is really an important time to lean on those people that are close in your life, and it actually ties in wonderfully to our guest today, who we'll get to in just a moment.
It's again another chilling. Raise the hair on the back of your neck. It's fascinating what our group is doing today. But I also have an announcement.
Okay.
We are joining forces. And somebody out there, they would like you, but you're so wound up.
What do you
in
mean?
different things. But the Dale Carnegie people, Larry Lowry and Mike Iorio, are offering to one of our viewers a scholarship, a $2,300 scholarship to their program. Their program will meet for 8 weeks, Thursday, 4 o'clock to 7:30, 8 sessions. They only offer 20 slots. They're giving us one of these slots. And it's going to take you through actionable items, writing them down, sharing them, hearing them aloud. And this is you're making a commitment to you. So how we're going to get people energized to apply, and we'll pick one person within the next several days. So whether you send an email of interest, however we do that, you'll have to figure that out. Make sure that we have people connect. But this is unbelievable. Unbelievable that they reached out to say, we want to make a difference. And this is how we've come up with the idea. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Larry. And they're not a Martelli Minute. That's a Martelli program.
I was going to say we got a lot to touch on with that. We will provide a little bit later in the show here some information on how to get in touch with us to begin that application process for sure.
And it's quick. You got to go.
I'm with you. It's it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting.
Yes.
It's an awesome announcement, and excited for anyone who might have the chance to secure that scholarship.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. So take a minute, not a Martelli Minute, because the Martelli Minute every day,
6:30 a.m. on Instagram.
Phil_Martelli.
That's right.
Here it is. Make it part of your DNA to do what you say you are going to do. Why? Actions greater than words. Be great, do great together. Back to the friendship and team. Yesterday was, tomorrow will be, today is. Embrace is with joy. Spread happiness. Too much going on. Everybody can be down and out. Spread happiness. True friendship means answering the call each and every time. Not occasional friendship. Not advantage friendship. True friendship. Answer the call every single time. And then how high you go depends on how hard you go. The Martelli Minute. Every day.
6:30 a.m. on Instagram.
We try to connect it with these unbelievable guests that we have. I mean, they are still, Camino Farms is that episode with the Keatings is ringing off the hook. And with today's guest, we're going to make a little connection with them. Today's guest. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Make a difference. How about this way? Provide a safe, supportive environment for grieving children and families. Delving into the effects of death and grief started in 2001. And our guest is going to take us through the beginning of this. A grieving family to honor the loss of a child put together. I love this. I love this. Reading articles. How about this quote in an article? Not replicated anywhere. Isn't that Philadelphia? Like, give us the unique. And that's what we have. Really focusing on the economically disadvantaged, the family and friends of young Peter thought of others when they started Peter's Place. And we're delighted. They've sent us the best of the best in their organization. And when you read through their board and everything else, they said to us, we're only coming on, we're coming with our very best, our most compassionate, our most organized, because he's director of programs for Peter's Place, Joseph Kelly. And before he comes on, I just want to give you a little warning.
I just put him on, but okay.
I just want to give you a little warning.
You got it.
My man is a certified personal trainer, so he may be taking you on as a client. We'll see. So thank you for joining us.
Hi, Phil. Thank you very much for having me. Hi there, Jared. How are you guys today?
Doing
well.
Great.
Doing well.
Thank you for that lovely lead-in. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So to pay homage to Peter's Place, can you take us to the origins? Can you tell us the story?
Yeah. So Peter's Place is named after Peter Morsbach. And Peter was 10 years old in 1999 when he died in an unfortunate accident. And his family, his parents, his sister, were in need of support. Were in need of community, and really had a hard time finding a place where they could connect with other families who are navigating a similar experience, the death of a loved one, of an important person. And this spawned some meaning making, and really motivated the family to look into creating a space not only for themselves, but where other families could connect with one another around loss. So with the help of friends, family, community members, we opened our doors, interestingly enough, September 12th, 2001.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
As if, the need wasn't there beforehand, right? It became front page for the world to see. And so here we are, 25 years later, embarking upon our 25th year anniversary, culminating in September 12th of this year. So it's a privilege and a distinct honor to be here for our families.
I read through the articles, I read through the website, and there's things that jump. And if you could explain these to our audience, a peer support group, what does that look like? And what is the impact? What's the length of being involved in a peer support group?
Well, peer support's different from proper therapy, right? Peer support, the primary goal is to not only create a space where families and young people can gather, but then to establish peer connection through a commonality. Here, of course, that's going to be having experienced the death of an important person in their life. That could be a parent, grandparent, sibling, extended family, etc. So, to get young people in a space where they're with other 7, 8, 9-year-olds, all who have experienced the death of a parent, offers such a unique experience for them, one that they most likely do not find anywhere else in their lives. And so to create that connection and that opportunity for children and families to be in a place where others get it, is the primary goal. As far as length of time, well, we regard the grief experience not as temporary in nature. There is no end or conclusion to it. The losses that we experience are embedded within us and become part of our narrative throughout our lives. And we grieve and we re-grieve. We often refer to grief as coming in waves. Sometimes we can anticipate those waves, like an anniversary, a birthday, holidays. Other times it may catch us off guard. Perhaps it was our person's favorite song that just pops on the radio, and we weren't quite ready to hear that. Maybe as we get older and we hit these other markers in our lives, we think about those that we've lost more poignantly. So for our groups here at our space in Radnor, we allow children to stay within their group experience all the way through graduating high school.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to delve into this, but the school-based peer
Mhm.
support, is that something where you're going outside of the immediate family? Is when you go into a school, is it dealing with a fourth grader who
Mhm.
has passed away and the other fourth grade? Is that am I reading that correctly?
That's correct. Yeah, thank you for that. So, not only do we have our groups here at our space in Radnor, um, but we recognize that the need extends beyond, our radius where families can come to us. So, you know, as we as we solidified ourselves in the first, decade of our existence, we really felt compelled to carry our program out into the community outside of our walls to those who are unable to access our supports here. So we run about like 40, 35 to 40 school groups a year, in mostly in Philadelphia and Delaware counties. We do have additional reach, but that's predominantly where we serve. And yeah, we bring together kids within one or two grades. So, a K-1 uh, group, maybe a group, our third graders and fifth graders, maybe a group, um, and bring the program to them. It looks a little different than our groups at Radnor. They are a bit more time limited, but it's just another way to extend our resources to meet great need, and certainly to bring it to those who are, in areas that are under resourced. And I should say, Phil, all of our services are at no cost to our families or to the schools that we serve. So, yeah.
Uh, you have quite a lengthy group. It's listed on your website as your team, and then you had an advisory council and you have a board. But Joseph, I want you to be the head coach right now
Hmm.
and the captain of the team. Brag about your teammates.
Cool.
Introduce us to them, please.
Um, yeah, I can't say enough about them, about what it means to be around them all the time, because it's all about giving, and kindness and care and commitment and all those positive things. The motivation is so pure and joyous that it's infectious. People think that if they come to a grieving center that it's likely going to be really heavy and really depressing, and there are moments of sadness, of course, but really, if you enter this space, or when we bring a bit of our space to the schools, there's a lot of laughter, a lot of joy, and of course a lot of caring for one another. So that couldn't happen without Mimi Dambro, who is my assistant director of programs, and does a little bit of everything, absolutely everything, groups here, groups in schools. Jess Pologrudo is our family services manager, and she welcomes our families from the initial inquiry, their initial interest, all the way through their group experience, and just creates a meaningful experience for each and every one of our families. We have amazing facilitators, Pat Connolly, Allie Hoffman, Lizanne McLaughlin, who
Come on, Academy Awards.
here we go. And
Don't
then,
miss anybody.
And then we got Carla and Carrie, who are responsible for our community-based programming and carrying our mission into schools, into neighborhoods where there are challenges, and they do it with a smile and with grace, and again with the biggest hearts imaginable. That's my team. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. That's my program team. We have an amazing support staff as well that helps bring in the money and tell our story. So.
Joseph, I wanted to touch back on that a little bit because you mentioned your programs come at no cost to the grieving families. How have you been able to make it work for 25 years? How do you continue to make it work? And then, of course, how can people help? I mean, I think that's in kind of our hope and our goal here is to highlight you guys and hopefully spotlight you guys and continue to give you the help that you need to do what you do.
Thank you. Yes. So we do raise all of our money every year through individual donors, through family foundations, and grants. We host a few events a year. We have a really fun family fall festival in September, October. It depends on which year. And then, of course, we have our benefit and auction, which heading into our 25th anniversary, we're really hoping makes a difference, no pun intended, this year. That event takes place in late April. As far as those who are interested in learning how to support, you can do that through a number of ways. You can, if you're interested in considering being a volunteer facilitator for one of our peer support groups, that's an area. If you'd like to participate on our advisory council or board, do reach out to us. If you want to follow our social medias and just spread the love and the word, you may do that. You can obviously go to our website to donate. I believe you'll put that link up at some point, but petersplaceonline.org. And there'll be all this information there on our social media and our website about our benefit and auction. If you'd like to perhaps secure a handful of tickets and come buy an auction item or just don't, or paddle raise. We love paddle raises.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that this is a real example for all of us. Have this burnt into your brain and into your heart. Oftentimes when you give, you get more than you gave. It's not why you do it, but this is a prime example. The joy in his voice and the description of his team. So you've done this for 25 years. What's next? How's it expand? How's it refined? How's it improved?
I would say tongue in cheek to conquer the world, right? But really what I mean by that is it would be amazing if we could contribute, and I believe that we do, but continue to contribute to kind of a grief-sensitive culture, one that isn't maybe so avoidant of grief or perhaps changes the language in regarding grief as some pathological experience into more of embedded within the human existence. So often we reject the hard parts of our lives, the things that we lose and the way that makes us feel, be it sad, alone, scared, that when we're rejecting that part of who we are, there's a lot of discord there that creates. So if we can continue to train and educate mental health professionals and school counselors to then carry that torch forward, if we can continue to be a safe space for the children, families, and schools that we serve, and continue to do that well, the permeating impact that could have on the society at large being able to support one another in an improved way, in a more sensitive way. That would be the overarching goal, I suppose.
All right. I'm not sure about this. Did you major in English, by the way?
Journalism.
So that's as close.
Writing.
And as I read through everything yesterday, I saw a word. I had never seen this word before. And I have to ask you, Joseph, postvention. What is postvention?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So in addition to the peer support groups that we run, and in addition to the trainings that we offer, to support staff in the community. We are able to help hold schools and communities when they're navigating what oftentimes is a sudden and unexpected death. So, as an example, perhaps there's a school um, where a student has died unexpectedly, and they're in need of, not only communicating with everyone, with the students, the faculty, and families, but in creating a plan to best support all constituents. And we're able to be a partner in helping them learn about what supports may be needed, and in some many occasions being able to offer and provide those services. That is anything from meeting with parents who are concerned about how to support their grieving child at home, meeting with faculty about what grief looks like in their students and how they can best support them, and then meeting with students just to educate them about the grief experience, or even bringing a group to the school.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. All right. Well, I know, again, navigating the website, and I don't know exactly the timing of when this occurred, but please, please, please fill us in on the book that is part of your program.
Yes. So um, this was spearheaded by Jane McNeil, who happens to be the person that we are honoring at our 25th anniversary. She has been a stalwart supporter of Peter's Place since its inception. So, and her connections run deep with the mission, the organization, and the families that helps to create Peter's Place. Jane herself wanted to um, contribute in some way to the grief experience um, of young people, and she has a particular passion for the performative arts, for books, and so in communication, we chose to create a book for our 7 to 10 population specifically. The theme of the book is utilizing a knight, and that is with intention. Peter loved knights. Peter had a life-size knight in his room whose name is Sam, who is still here with us and greets our families and watches over them as they enter our space. He's a big life-size knight that has been with us for 25 years. If you would like to learn more about our book or to purchase our book, that you may also do that on our website. So please, buy multiple copies and hand them out to your friends and family members.
It's fascinating. It really is fascinating, and we'll put all this out on our network and making sure. And as I thought and thought and thought, and actually woke up in the middle of the night anxious for this came to mind from Whitney Houston. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us of how we used to be. That to me is Peter's Place. Thank you, Joseph, for sharing. And we always end our segment with this one. Who's made a difference in your life?
My mom.
The moms always win.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Phil. That was a beautiful quote, by the way. I needed to share that.
Yeah. Well, we are delighted that you joined us, and you'll to the extent that we can, you have our support. We have some wonderful, wonderful people that follow and listen, and if we can supply time, talent, and treasures, count us in. Thank you. You've made us better.
Thank you, Phil and Chad. I appreciate your time.
Hey, Joseph, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us. Really, really terrific stuff that to me is like it's so vital for anyone who's experienced loss in their life at that level. You just so many people
Little kids.
they get lost. They don't know.
But we're all a little kid, really. We're all a little kid in those moments.
Mhm.
And we're not equipped. I don't mean that as a knock on anybody, but can you imagine a classmate being there on a Friday and you walk in and that desk is empty on Monday? How? Or coming home from school and that person sent you off to school, but now uh, people are doing so many things that it makes you feel small. But if we can give them away, and we will continue to do that with social media. So, to everybody at Peter's Place, and to those that reach out knowing that they need help, kudos to everybody.
Yeah, I think anyone listening here that is moved by their mission, which I would say everybody listening is going to be moved by their mission, is petersplaceonline.org is where you can go to donate to help support their cause, where you can reach out to maybe get connected with their grief counselors, and also be able to purchase their book as well that helps children 7 to 10 who are dealing with that grief and don't quite understand how to navigate those feelings and how you kind of deal with a situation like that. So again, that's petersplaceonline.org is where you can find them. Again, we'll put it out on our social medias as well, but it is terrific work they are doing to help young children navigate grief. It's really it's a beautiful sentiment. So another just
And then we'll
rock
speak
star
it into
group.
existence. There's something to make the connection with Camino Farms from last week, like bringing groups for a respite.
It's something like
It's-
it's almost like all these organizations that are making a difference can join forces in one way or another
I would
too.
love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. But joining forces is what we all do in March. Yes or no?
Exactly right. That's
Right.
exactly right.
So, Coaching Corner today is yes, it's our coaches, but it's our fans, our passionate fans, and now our March fans. And the first thing that people start to think about are bubbles. What does that mean? Am I in? Are we out? How do we have to do this? They look at the committee and they'll think, well, that committee makes the games up for TV, or a personal bias. And I'm here to say that this is a numeric exercise. What numbers they choose to use, Ken Palm, the net, wins against bubble, all of these unbelievable strength of schedule, non-conference strength of schedule. Used to be the last 10 games mattered. Doesn't seem that way now anymore. But every person that goes into that committee meeting has more information than maybe any committee in the country. So they do make a numbers decision. I will raise my hand, and living on the bubble here with VCU, I'm going to raise my hand. I don't want expansion. I don't want expansion. I think there's something energizing about being angst and anxious and every game mattering.
I think it's fair to say that it's earned, right?
It's
The
absolutely,
format
it's
is
absolutely, the format is earned. And somebody Sunday night will be the 69th team. Right? Somebody will say, but head to head, we beat them. It happens every year. And I think what it does, it's ingenious in a way, because you actually go into a 48-hour cycle where it's college basketball all the time. because the debate about seeds, the debate about who got in, who was left out, and then you get to the matchups, and these matchups are intriguing, and I mean this respectfully, because it's not Iowa and Nebraska. Well, they just played, and they've already played, but now you get into a Wisconsin versus a Santa Clara, or a Wisconsin versus a St. Mary's, different parts of the country, and the amount of work that goes into distances that they travel, the coordination of travel, and there's actually a quote unquote crisis going into this tournament in that the private plane, the charter plane, is limited. Some of those companies are going out of business. So the joy that you get when your name is called, you forget what time it is and you just go on a cloud to the point that you play Thursday or you play Friday or you play Tuesday, Wednesday in Dayton. Enjoy it. And I'm saying enjoy even with the little bit of churning that goes on. We've already had in this first week a couple of prohibitive one bid teams, one bid leagues where the conference champion, there's angst there. But hopefully for all those teams, they'll take advantage and play in the NIT where you can still compete for a championship. So we're thinking about all of you. We're rooting hard for one team for sure. But don't get caught up in the committee is biased. The committee is looking only for the made for TV games. It's just not a fact.
So I want to turn this on you really quick because I think that is the prevailing consumer or fan sentiment, is that is where these things have shifted. You see 10 SEC schools get in, half of them don't even have winning records in their conference, and people feel, hey, that's not fair, they're not worthy. And it's like, well, look at their net, look at their like these certain things that will launch them in a stratosphere of saying, well, they're a top 50 program, something like this, and even if they didn't compete or they didn't perform at the highest level you'd hope them to, they still deserve to get in because they're a stronger program, or at least a stronger team.
Agreed.
That does diminish the magic of the tournament a little bit because people do love to see the Cinderella mid-major make a run.
Yeah, the power conferences have discovered a secret sauce, and I would say to you, it boils down to scheduling.
And that's
they'll
the difficult
schedule
thing, right?
each other, or they schedule a bottom 250 and lower team
that won't hurt
and it won't hurt them because they'll run up the score.
Yeah.
There's still work to be done to say these are the 68 worthy teams. I appreciate what people are saying about that.
I think like you said, it's people are like, oh, I guess what you're saying is like it's purely a numbers thing. And I think people get frustrated. It's like, well, the numbers have also to an extent maybe they've been not juiced, but just worked to the point where these power programs are.
That's the word.
Like, it doesn't matter that we're 500. We know our resume is good enough to work the system, I guess, if you will.
Right. I think the idea of being in the tournament can be different at each place, right? We have Lehigh going to play Boston U. One of them is going to be in the tournament. But Duke or Michigan, Arizona, they're going in that tournament because they want to win 6 games. Where it's minimized is the conference tournaments because their body of work said, well, they'll be on the 1 line or the 2 line, or which gets you close to home for those first couple of rounds. You get a little bit of a say in your region. So, yeah, there's work to be done, but it's not a perfect system. But it is not a popularity contest. I can promise everybody that. It's a numeric formula.
Will it ever be perfect?
No, some would say it's only perfect if everybody gets in.
Yeah.
But if everybody gets to their conference tournament, isn't everybody in at that point? And you're playing your way into the main event?
Everybody gets a shot except for the bottom 3 teams in the AAC, but that's
And some other leagues.
Yeah.
The
But
Ivy.
But that's that's what else can you do about it?
Right.
It's like I said, someone's always going to be left
Right.
on the outside looking in unhappy, no matter what.
But I wasn't left on the outside. I had quite the trip.
You're the insider for sure.
I had quite the trip where I was fortunate that Fox allowed me to broadcast the Creighton at Butler game. Where was it? Hinkle Fieldhouse. What was shot in Hinkle Fieldhouse?
You always
Please.
hit me with something.
Please, you will be eliminated from this podcast if you don't have this answer. This should be right there. One of the great basketball movies of all time.
I assume you're talking Hoosiers, but I don't know where that. Yeah, okay, but I was
shot in Hinkle Fieldhouse.
I didn't know. Yeah, I had no idea.
And Hinkle Fieldhouse is very much like the Palestrin, that the walls talk to you. There's shrines. It's an old building. So I was fortunate enough to do that, and then drive to Dayton at VCU. I'm sorry, VCU at Dayton, and a salute to 13,000 people. The atmosphere. Dayton Arena is a place where they cheer for their team without the other nonsense that you see. So wonderful atmosphere. The people, because going to the game, I had just gotten word about Steve Conley's passing. The people, the way they approached me, not about that, but just their appreciation for the work that I had done in that building. And I hate using we had done in that building, the games they remembered. To everybody, thank you. Quite an experience to be with the people of Dayton and to see VCU play, and Dayton to play such a hard-fought game. Well done. Well done.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
Well, but here's the beauty. Here's the beauty. Home. And I have to look at the calendar, but I'm home for 4.5 days. So what am I going to do? NIT prep, that has to take place. The viewing and funeral for a dear friend and a dear family, Steve Conley and the Conleys. Trip to the A10 for our 5 o'clock VCU versus Duquesne or Rhode Island. Hopefully there for a game Saturday and a game Sunday, and a celebration on Sunday with VCU. Getting in the car and driving home. Why? Not for the Dale Carnegie course, which we're going to talk about, but we have to get this up. Coaches versus Cancer tournament breakfast, Monday, March 16th, 8 o'clock tip, panelist, Big Five Hall of Famers, players who have played in the NCAA tournament, all there, and a special guest that I might have to keep you away from.
I know who it is.
Coach Vic, the defensive coordinator from the Eagles, who is a basketball lunatic from Pennsylvania, the Scranton area. He will be my guest, our guest, at the breakfast, along with names. Think about that. Big Five Hall of Famers. Each school is going to send us a player. I'm sorry, a former player. We're going to have just a terrific opportunity. And the building is now called Xfinity Mobile Arena. Please, please, we have room. We would love to host you. Thanks out to the committee, John Griffin, Fran Dunphy, Don DeJulia. Let's pack this thing. Let's pack this thing. Think about it. Hoops and crushing cancer.
No better combo than that. And it's the morning after Selection Sunday, so there's going to be plenty of chatter about just how that bracket lines up, which should be a lot of fun.
And maybe no, it'll have to be before then. Okay. The Dale Carnegie course, we have a scholarship. If you go online and try to sign up today, it's going to cost you $2,300. Right here, we have the scholarship. They're going to give you actionable items. You need to be available every Thursday for the next 8 weeks, 4 to 7:30. I could be wrong. I think it's in the King of Prussia area. Larry and Mike supporting us. We want to support them. And here's what I like the best. They said, we know going on your podcast, you'll find a high-level person, not a high-level earner, not a high-level executive, a high-level person. So I thank them for their belief in what we're doing. But again, Larry Lowry, Mike Iorio, Father Judge, Archbishop Carroll. Come on now. Somebody out there. Follow our socials. Send us an email. We'll be in touch in the next 36 hours to let you know. And how about this fact? As I was talking to them, a graduate of the Dale Carnegie programs, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of them. The name Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil was an assistant coach in college and took the course so that he could become a better public speaker and a better recruiter, because that's what the power is of the Dale Carnegie. So please, we are honored to be working with them. And they've invited me in. Week 8 is when each participant makes a presentation. And I'm going to be not a judge, but I'm going to be an observer of that in week 8. Pretty good.
It's pretty awesome stuff. If you want to get in touch with us about that, you can send us an email, makeadifferencepodcast@gmail.com. That's we'll be able to sort through anyone looking to get involved with them and their scholarship. Very, very awesome stuff. And we, of course, have to thank Joseph Kelly once again, Peter's Place. Terrific guest today. Terrific mission that they have, helping grieving children and families as they battle loss. It is a wonderful, wonderful organization. If you're looking to get in touch with Phil to help make a difference, head on over to pnjmakeadifference.com. That's where you can get in touch with Phil. Tell him your story, and he can pitch in and help you make a difference either on the court, off the court, in the classroom, or in the workplace. We are at Make a Difference Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. At Make a Diff Pod on X. We are Make a Difference with Phil Martelli on Facebook. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, we would love a 5-star rating. If you're looking for that Martelli Minute, that is at Phil_Martelli on Instagram every morning at 6:30 a.m. I think that's about all I got for you. Again, if you want to get in touch with us, that is makeadifferencepodcast@gmail.com with that scholarship opportunity. And all I got left for you is
go Rams.
Go Rams.